Okay, minimize your screen. Go to the moon.
Okay, here we go. Going to the moon right here. Boom. There you go. Yes? Okay. Okay. There you go. I'm going to minimize the moon a little bit and recenter it. Okay.
Okay.
That's all. But to do that, I'm going to run the telescope controls.
Yep.
So I'm going to take this down to auto, like so, and then I'll recenter things. Go.
Okay, so you are currently streaming live on YouTube, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping that.
That's what the StreamYard thing said. Okay, you are. Is there a link to your YouTube, or is it just Astronomy Adventures AZ?
I didn't generate a link because it was public, right? So it was just anybody. Right? So it's Astronomy Adventures AZ, I believe.
Okay,
That's
so
my channel.
if you'd like to, I don't know how long I'm going to be on TikTok Live. We just did this to try to get a little bit more publicity out there, but Astronomy Adventures AZ, Astronomy spelled out, Adventures spelled out, AZ on YouTube. That's the channel that Chuck has, and that's where he is going to be streaming the views from his telescope. This is looking out of, this is May. Which one is this?
This is Emmy.
Emmy, that's right. Okay.
Amelia.
Yep. So this is Emmy. This is the Celestron. Tell us one more time.
1100. An
Celestron.
11-inch SCT.
Okay.
Schmidt-Cassegrain reflector.
Okay. So that's what we're looking through tonight. And he's got the camera set up. The camera's plugged into the computer. Computer's plugged into the monitor. So we on here can see what we're looking at through the eyepiece, as it were. And there's just a direct view. Get that cursor out of there if you don't mind.
Okay, you got it.
There's just a direct link to what he's looking at on the monitor on YouTube. So if you'd like to take a look at that, it's a little bit cleaner image. You're not going to hear us talking a whole lot on there. But yeah, just wanted to share everything with everybody, show you what we were doing tonight. So I will go ahead and share this out to a bunch of people. Again, I apologize if you get multiple shares. Doesn't happen very often, so forgive me.
One of the reasons they do this is exactly what you were talking about. In case other people are clouded out on Iomn, you can get on there and find different places that are, and it's worldwide.
Right.
So there's places all over the world that might be broadcasting.
Are you unmuted?
I am unmuted.
Okay.
I'm live.
Okay. Hey, Blackcurrant, how are you? I'm going to share this out to a few folks. Try not to duplicate anybody.
Also, Nick, I want you to know I'm not saving any of these images. Okay.
What?
I'm not saving any of these images. This is just live stream. I'm not saving them so I don't have pictures.
Right, but your stream is going to be posted to YouTube.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure of that. because normally when I do this, if I have a particularly nice image, there's a spot on here where I can do a quick capture and save it as it is.
Okay.
If you look right at the top, you can see where it says snapshot. I can do that. We couldn't get much of a better night. Yeah, but you seem to know that you're more comfortable with it. Yeah, but it's the same thing. Are you serious when you said there were 5,000 views on this thing? Likes. Likes? Yeah. How's that even possible? That's amazing.
I don't think there's anybody here right now. Let's take a look. Hey, Husker's back. Husker, how's the game going, bud? Who's even on right now? Hold on. Hold on, I'm fucking with my eye holes. Husker, I know you're there. 34-3 victory. Who is this? Oh, never mind.
And who?
That's stupid. Yeah, that was a dumb question.
Yeah, but
Who are they playing? Yeah. I know. Hey, I realized it. Okay, I called myself out for it. Listen, my looks only get me so far. Okay, bud. So yeah. University of Northern Iowa. Who even gives a shit then?
I think they had an upset of Notre Dame. I think they did.
Oh, okay. All right. Oh, maybe they did. Let's see. I'm gonna bring you guys over. So we do have. Hold on. I'm gonna come over into the wall. You've had enough views for right now of the moon. So
If they want more, they can go right to YouTube.
well, no, we're just gonna say so. Not exactly what's. All right, so what we're doing tonight, guys, I'm out here in beautiful Purdue, hot as hell, still 30, yeah, Arizona. We're expecting some thunderstorms soon, so I don't know. But I did everything we've got tomorrow, so this is just about this. And the reason that we got Chuck out here and comes up to a live stream on YouTube, so NASA is back and forth, is that this is and a lot of people are struggling with that, right? They don't have any size like this. So what NASA wants to do is they want to put everybody right so they can go out on international looking up at thunderstorms or whatever, nice star in the sky. You just head on over to that and see what's going on. And really relate to what other folks are. That's really what it is what type of equipment is it? Someone with a little desktop telescope looked up in their room that's looking and you're looking at um, so it's a matter of what type of things are people using, what type of weather are they trying to fight against the clouds? And that kind of makes it fun, right? We finally get a chance to see what we're looking for, right? That's one of the things that I love about the scope that I had in high school, because I had an 8-inch stop sander that was just a point and look, didn't have any tracking, it didn't have electronics, it didn't have anything. Right, it's just a rock and chisel, right? That's all you're doing. And the part of that is you can take it, put an eyepiece in it, and just turn it and look at stuff, right? And that is the roadmap, right? That's having a map in the car, astronomy. It's no navigation, it's no GPS, it's none of this stuff. It's a map and finding out that's right. It's discovering something, it's finding this cloudy field of stars and thinking, oh, did I just come across it? No, of course you didn't, dumbass, right? It's just I thought that I had come. So that's part of the feeling that you try to play on nights like this when there's such an important event happening. If someone is fighting through these issues, they can say, hey, let's go take a look at what Astronomy Adventures is and Constitution is, right? They've got a full setup, you've got an 11-inch Celestron with all the bells and whistles you can think of, the Seawolf camera hooked up to the PC, live streaming on YouTube, plus me as a host, and you don't get much better than that. It really doesn't, right? So what NASA is trying to do is collaborate with astronomers, professional and amateurs around the world, certainly around the country, to get everyone engaged and to get everyone excited again about what we do. It's been a long time, and a lot of people have forgotten that excitement. And you know what? This in the next couple of years, we really want to get that excitement. So there's going to be a lot of focus on this. Certainly, I think next year there's going to be a lot of focus on lunar-centered events. So keep an eye out in the years for those. I know they're going to be coming up, probably not this year, but next year. And so what we're doing out here is we're with Chuck with Astronomy Adventures Arizona. How long has Astronomy Adventures been?
Oh, we've been doing this for about 8 years.
Okay.
I've been doing that for
Okay, so you are a professional astronomer. Since you have your company, you're considered a professional
I was
astronomer.
a professional. I did
And this is just how much professional astronomy
Yes.
okay. Show us the hat.
There you go.
That's the hat. No.
There you go.
Show us.
There you go.
There.
Oh, hold it.
Oh.
If you're going to be an astronomer, you got to have red letters. That's it. Red letters.
You know you're dealing with a real astronomer. And
Well,
there
there
at that point, yeah. See, it's bad enough when you have just a lamp like that's bad enough. But now you can find what lamp it just doesn't get much better than that. I tell you. So, National Observatory for
10, 15 years?
Well, I worked there for 12 years.
Okay.
Actually, Southern Tucson is considered the astronomy capital of the world.
Right.
And Kitt Peak here in Tucson has more telescopes than any other mountain. We don't have the biggest.
Right.
We just have the
Just the
most.
most. I
That's
think, what
correct.
was it, 26? At
I
one
believe
point,
so.
it was 26?
I believe
Okay.
so.
Okay. And what you were doing at Kick was you were doing the nightly observing program, public programs, which was, just taking people on a tour of the stars, right?
They'd come up, they'd get dinner, and I would take them to one of the telescopes on the mountain and look at the stars.
Okay. So just whatever is up that mountain, then let's go see it. And if it's cool, we're going to look at it.
And tonight, even though the moon is the star tonight, we actually have Saturn in the sky tonight. We won't even be looking at Saturn. We're going to concentrate on the moon.
Nope. We can't look at Saturn. We might convince them to do it. I think we just might convince them to do it. Stacy, welcome in. Appreciate the likes. Stacy's here. Huster's in here. Huster, Stacy's my wife. Be nice to her. All right. So Chuck worked there for several years, and once he left there, then couldn't ever be astronomy. No, I've been in astronomy since I was in the seventh grade. Right, and that's why it was just that was the kind of kick in the ass to just go ahead and start astronomy adventures. That was correct. I started it just before I left, and okay, and that's how you got the connection to get Faye.
Yes, when I left, they were going.
We won't say much about it, right? We won't say much about it, but
No, but when I left, they were going to hire that telescope and not put this thing, but rather than put it in storage, let me buy.
right.
So I brought Faye home, paid for a little bit of TLC, got a wedge or a tripod for it, and now she is a traveling telescope, and I can review you because that was the same telescope I used on
Yeah. So you have Faye, Faye's twin sister, another 14 inches, 16 inch.
Naomi.
Yep. So Faye and Naomi are two twins, 16-inch beads. We have two CPC-11 Celestrons, right? One is flow, and then just
8 inches.
okay. So you have the C8.
I have a C8 and I have a edge high definition 8.
Okay.
Right? That is red and yellow.
And then the Dob.
The Dob. I still have the Dob. And I have a 6-inch refractor called Gal.
Which doesn't get out much because
She doesn't get
Gal's a
out
pain.
She's a pain. She has to be overaligned to use, but a 6-inch refractor is a beautiful instrument for pain stars.
Okay, so that's a basic summary of what we did tonight. We've got the moon over here. It looks fantastic. Here's the winds have died down. Everything is nice and calm. So I'm going to set you guys over in front of the monitor. You can look at what we're seeing tonight. Enjoy the evenings that we're going to go. And that's what we're doing for. And we appreciate all the likes. If you guys want to share this out, and you can think, hey, someone that I know is going to do this out here. Someone that I know has a secret hat too. Share it out to them. We're happy to
We'll
talk
bring
to
a
people.
telescope right to you.
We're happy to talk to people this evening. Absolutely. So yeah, I'm going to set you over in front of the monitor. We're going to do a little bit of interviewing over on YouTube. So again, the YouTube channel that you can find Chuck at is Astronomy spelled out, Adventures spelled out, with a Z. And that's on YouTube. Go to his channel. You'll see him streaming live. You can see directly. You don't have to look at the monitor anymore. Right now, it's just directly shooting from that image. Right. So it's a bit of a clearer image. But again, you don't have any hosting over there. So, stay here. So I'm going to put you over in front of the monitor. Any questions you have, I'll try to answer them as much as possible. Otherwise, just enjoy.
You should also know that part of the reason it's not quite as crisp tonight is because it's 3/4 moon. If it was a half a moon, it would be perfect. You get more shadows at half moon.
Okay.
I also took
That's muted.
okay. I took a picture of the moon for flying leap last night, and I overlaid the images of where Apollo 11, 12, and 14 landed on the moon.
Hmm.
So I could bring that up on the screen for them and show them the landing sites of Apollo.
Gotcha. I need to get another drink.
No, go right ahead. I'm just going to reduce the size of the moon a little bit right now. There we go. And just for the moment, so I can reposition it on the screen into the center. The telescope is set up to track the moon tonight, but it's not a perfect tracking mechanism when you just track on one object like the moon. So every once in a while I make some adjustments just to keep it centered in the eyepiece, or in this case, in the camera. There we go. There you are. Once I have it centered like that a little bit, I can zoom in on certain features of the moon if we like. Just to take a look around, you can pick and choose your magnification level. This is at 100%. We're now looking at the crater Tycho right there. And if I want to pan around a little bit, I can go look at, I'm sorry, this was Copernicus we were looking at right there. And then over here at the South Pole on the moon is the crater Tycho with its system of rays. So you can zoom in a little bit. The more you zoom in, the fuzzier the picture gets. So it's a little bit of a trade-off. I just try to keep it reasonable so we have most of the moon in there, and that also keeps it looking a little bit sharper for people. There we go. There we go. It's a good looking image tonight. This camera gives us a good picture. It's a small camera with a small chip, but the pixels in it are very small, so you get excellent detail. See that Saturn right above that cloud over there?
Don't talk to the people and get their hopes up. You're not going to do it.
The problem is last night I showed it at Flying Leap event, and it looked spectacular in the visual eyepiece, but not on the screen.
Oh, well,
That was the problem.
that happens.
And in the visual eyepiece, it was stunning.
Yeah.
Steve was running that for me last night.
Yeah. I mean, that's just what you're going to get, right?
Well,
Because
and that's
you
the
have
thing.
such a bright and already detailed object,
That's right.
right? You don't have to have high magnification. You don't have to
That's
up
correct.
the brightness. You've got everything you need right there.
Right there.
So,
And that's the thing. We showed last night there were objects that show up better. We showed the Andromeda Galaxy,
Mm-hmm.
and it shows up so much nicer in the camera
Yeah.
because I capture images that are 10, 12, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
now you've got a nice detailed picture. But when you looked at Saturn, you could actually still see separation in the rings.
Well, and that's okay, right?
In an
like
eyepiece,
that.
that's great.
I like that. Let's see. I wonder if the Byron's in Australia.
Well, they won't be seeing the moon tonight. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning over there. You're right, though. You can that image on the screen. It doesn't look too bad,
No, it looks pretty nice.
considering, like you said, you're looking at a monitor.
You're looking at a monitor.
Right.
Yeah, but it's not too bad. It's a little difficult because cell phone camera looking at monitor.
Right. You
Yeah.
get some distortion in there
It's just
sometimes.
inherently not good.
Yep, that's correct.
Sorry, guys. I'm gonna move you for just a second. Put you right in here. A little bit more level. It should be a little bit less.
A better direct shot.
Hopefully that's better. It looks pretty good on this one. Could you move that mouse, please?
Again, I'm sorry. I was using it to readjust the screen.
Yeah, that looks nice. It looks really good.
Okay. You get a nice opportunity here to see different types of craters. Copernicus and Tycho are relatively young, and you can actually see the center peak in those. And then if you look over here at Plato, you can see that it's a plane in the middle. There's no central peak. So you get those kinds of craters as well. And you can get a relative age of these craters by looking at who is overlapping, which crater was first, which ones came after that. So you get a little bit of an effect of which ones are younger, which ones are older.
Hey, it looks like country music man Brad is here. Or was for a bit.
And that system of rays from Tycho is amazing.
Yeah.
And notice how the bright material has been deposited in many of the craters very far away from it.
Mm-hmm.
Because what happens is the sun bakes the surface. And when a meteor hits the moon, it scatters that material and digs up the stuff that hasn't been darkened by the sunlight. And so that young, new material is very reflective, and it makes those ray craters with the rays that spread out. You can see a little bit on the Copernicus one here too, but not near as much as this,
one, no.
because that's a very young crater, and that material that was blasted out has not had time to be darkened by the sun.
Well, and it also looks like there are more craters on the South Pole.
There are the southern
right?
end.
And so, like, just the
Mhm.
amount of stuff that has gotten collected in those
Yep.
probably lends to being more visible.
Right,
Right?
it does.
Whereas Copernicus
Is in the
it's
middle of a
relatively
mare
flat.
area.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
right.
There's nothing there to catch that stuff.
Not much around it.
So no, it's really interesting. I mean, I don't know if you guys can see on the camera here. It looks like you can.
This is
But
Copernicus.
yeah, I mean, we've got these striations spreading all the way up. I mean, can you see them reaching out?
They reach all the way out
across.
here, and they deposit that bright material in those little craters out there.
Yeah.
That far away.
Oh, it's just amazing.
And in fact, the dark side of the moon is far more heavily cratered. In a
The
way.
what side of the moon? The
Yeah.
what side of the moon?
The far side
Yep,
of the moon
Yep. We
is
caught 'em,
heavily
ladies and
cratered.
gentlemen. We caught them.
Yeah. And is heavily cratered. And a lot of that is actually protects the Earth from being hit by those objects that might have hit the Earth,
Okay.
but they hit the moon instead. And
Yeah.
so that far side over there, things that are attracted toward the Earth impact the moon instead. So it's much more heavily cratered on the back.
Interesting. No, it's looking like a great image tonight.
Yeah, I wish they could have gotten a little bit closer to the half phase. It gives you much more contrast and looks much, much nicer. As you get closer and closer to full moon, the bright lights bleach out the craters. They're not as good a contrast. So
Yeah.
that's unfortunate, but they pick a night, whatever they need to pick a night.
Yep, that's okay. So we were talking about, why tonight, right? When the moon isn't great for looking at, why is tonight International Observe the Moon Night? And the answer is, well, we're coming up on a very busy time for NASA, and they want to make sure that they can get as many people together virtually as possible.
So it's always a Saturday.
So it's a Saturday. We know that for sure, and it's not government fiscal year end just yet. So we can put that off for just a little while longer and enjoy events like this before everybody's too terribly busy. So
And
that's why it kind of took a back seat tonight.
Right.
With, okay, does the moon look great? No, not technically as good as it could, but this is the best time they have.
Well, and that's the point. They try to pick a Saturday near to the half moon.
Yeah.
And this is the one they ended up on. I'm going to take a quick snapshot of this. I don't know what they'll see. They may see nothing at all, but I'm going to try to save a quick image of this
I think you should.
just so we have it.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to go here to snapshot and say yes, and it'll take a shot for us and save it onto my computer. So if anybody needs an image of the moon from this camera, I can email that out after a little processing.
Yeah, we can do that. So feel free. I shared in the comments the YouTube channel where this is being streamed, so you can take a look at it there if you like, or you can feel free to send me a message on here. I'll get your contact info, whatever you'd like to share, and I can share something out to you. If this isn't enough for you, then we can make something else work.
Those bright craters stick out really nicely tonight.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of amazing. They almost look fluorescent in there.
Mm-hmm. You've got 8,000 likes on there.
Nice. And those are the likes. That's not even the people that are looking. Those are the likes.
Well, a lot of them are just sitting there.
Right.
But yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about.
No, and I don't know. Go ahead. Okay.
How much longer do you intend to stay hooked up?
I'm going to stay hooked up for another 15 minutes at about 9 o'clock. Then that's when I'll start shutting down. Is that work out for you?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
Like I said, I'll put the comments in there. Just close to
You can see on my control tabs here that the exposure speed for this camera right now is 1 image every 1,000th of a second. And my gain is set to almost nothing. I can usually use the gain if I need to make an image brighter without increasing the exposure time. But if I do that, the image gets grainier and gets more noise. So on an object like this with so much detail, I like to minimize the gain, and then, especially for the moon, I can do it in very quick exposures. If I was going to do image processing on this, what I would do is I would capture a movie of the moon, and then I would use all the frames in the movie and stack the image to make everything look very sharp. And I could do a little bit of image processing on it to make it look just very, very impressive. I'm not doing that tonight, mostly because there's a lot of work involved in that isn't interesting for people to watch on the screen. But number two, it takes up, when I make a movie of the moon, I'm trying to save about 3,000-4,000 images, and that can take up to 20 or 30 gigabytes of memory. And I just haven't checked to see how much is available, so I'd rather not run it down to nothing by accident. So I've taken a couple of snapshots, but that will restrict how much processing I can do on this image.
Looks good.
Yeah. And actually, this image works pretty well for this camera. The camera is not a square chip; it's a rectangular chip, and the orientation of the moon on the chip is long,
Okay.
as opposed to tall.
Yeah.
So it fits better this way than if I tried to orient it with the north up and the south down. In fact, if you notice on here, you'll see that the South Pole is at the left. So if I oriented it with the terminator on the left side, like it shows up in the sky, the North Pole would be at the top. So not only is this upside down, but it's also reversed.
Right.
So I'd have to do both of those to put the correct image on the screen.
Yeah.
Look at that. The cloud went right away from Saturn. That's it. Could be pigs. Here.
Who wrote that? I'm gonna go through it. They were so that I think they're on, aren't they? Or you mean real life? Could already be in there.
Here. Wait for the front. Yeah.
Hey, we've got about 5 more minutes and we'll be wrapping up, Nick.
I think we've got to take a quick look, don't we?
If
we
you,
have to take a quick look.
okay, I'll tell you what. If I do, remember, I did a moon align.
Right.
So it could be a little bit difficult for me to get it in there.
Oh, but you're a professional.
Yeah. But if you want, I will tell the telescope to go to Saturn and see if we can get it in there. But I'm not going to make any promises. It's tough.
I think we
tough.
we owe it to the people.
Yes, let's do it for the
We
people.
owe it to the people.
Yeah, for the people. That's
Right.
it. We'll do it for the people.
Exactly.
We'll do it for them. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to, let's see, I'm going to turn the gain up a bit, quite a bit, because we're going to go to look for Saturn, and it's going to be tough to see. Okay, are you ready?
Not yet. In just a second.
I will give you a second.
Just a second.
And I'm not making any promises here because it's tough in the screen, in the monitor. But the moon is dead on tracking, so that's good.
Okay.
I'm not. I'm just taking the brightness off. Here we go. I've turned up the gain so it'll be easier to see Saturn. So I had to adjust the brightness of the moon.
Oh.
That's all. There we go.
So I turned my brightness down just while we're still looking at this. Because
Right.
we've still got another minute and a half.
A minute and a half.
Yeah.
And then we'll take it to Saturn and see what we can see.
We've got our last images of the moon here. Here we close out 2024's International Observe the Moon Night. We really did luck out with the weather.
Yeah, we did. And it just is continuing to improve.
Yeah,
I
it's
expected it
getting
was
better
going
and
to
better.
degrade, but it hasn't.
No, it looks great. Okay, I think we owe it to him.
Ready?
Yeah.
Give it a stab. Here we go. I'm going to take it over to Saturn.
All right. Here's the bonus. This is what we were hoping for. Let's see if we can pull something up here.
It's not going to be a great image, but we'll try to get it in there.
Well, you can't be apologizing for it already.
Well, the rings are edge on now.
No, that's okay.
That's the problem.
That's okay.
Okay, so let's go to here. And we're going to go to Saturn.
We convinced him. See, just a little bit of peer pressure. That's all it takes.
Saturn. Enter. Let's see how it looks. Now, I'm going to turn up that exposure and gain so that we can see stars instead of the moon now. Bring it up to about a second or more, maybe. There we go. It looks like it's bringing it right in right now. There it is. Look at that. Bringing it in. And I'll keep the gain right about there. Okay, we're already seeing that it looks oblong.
Yes.
But what I can do is increase the magnification a bit first, just for focus purposes, right? Now, this is where we'll do this first. We're going to take the exposure time. I'm going to expose more light real quickly, about 1 second here. The reason is because now you can see the moons on Saturn. If you look to the left or to the right, you see two moons right next to the planet. And then you see another big bright moon to the left of the planet, and that is Titan. Okay. Now you have to have high exposure to see the moons, but you have to turn the exposure down to see the planet, and then the moons disappear. Okay.
So let me get a quick visual of
I
what
will
you're talking about.
blow it up a bit more for you. You can see them stretching out to the right.
Yes.
See them all the way out in that corner up there. Yeah, that's about the best. See, here's a moon, here's a moon, here's two moons, and here's Titan right here.
Okay.
Now Saturn is overexposed, so I can see those moons.
Okay.
But now, in order to see Saturn, I'll turn down the exposure so that it's exposed properly, but then the moons will disappear. Okay? So let's see what we can do here. Bring it down about halfway, and you can see it's already getting more distinct.
Yes.
Bring it down a little bit more. It actually needs to be a little bit almost darker, and then you'll get this. And then I'll take the exposure or the magnification way up, maybe 150%, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now you start to get the planet. And what I'll do is I'll adjust the exposure even a bit more, but I want to get this centered. There. There we go. Okay. Get that centered a bit. And I will adjust the exposure just a little more down, not a lot, so that we can see the planet. And now you can see the bright ring cutting across the front.
Mm-hmm.
And now I can take now with it centered, I can take the magnification up to 200 here, boom. And now you can see the planet with the rings. Let's even go up to 300, see what happens. See? Now, the rings, every 14 years, planet does the back and forth thing. And that means that every 7 years, the rings turn edge on. In about 2 months, they're going to be almost exactly edge on to us. And since the rings are only about 100 yards thick, they will essentially disappear for a couple of months until they start to open back up again. So right now, You can barely see this. It's very difficult on the monitor. This was beautifully exposed in the eyepiece last night,
Right.
because the eyepiece is sharper. But on this one right now, you can see even right here, a little shadow appears here. A little shadow appears here. Those are the opening in the rings. The rings just have a little opening next to the planet that comes in and out.
Yeah.
And what I can do is just try to focus it just a little bit better. But that got worse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we'll go the other way. See if it can just get a little bit better. It doesn't look like I was pretty good where I was, huh? Yeah, that's about the best you're going to get a focus on Saturn in this camera.
Right.
And this is a good camera. It's very, very sharp and detailed. But if you wanted to expose this for 10 minutes,
Mhm.
right? Then what I would do is I would make a movie, an SER version of Saturn, and I would let it do that for about 5 to 10 minutes, and I would get between 5 and 10,000 images, and I would use all of them and stack it to make it look sharper and better.
Okay. Yeah, see, the laptop screen and the monitor are completely different.
The monitor isn't as good, is it?
No.
Right. And the eyepiece is even better
Right.
than what you see on this.
Yeah.
But I don't think for them, I can turn it around if you think looking at this is better.
No, that's okay. This is exactly what we were hoping for.
Right.
Was just getting a view. This is a live view of Saturn, right?
It is. It is.
So we're going to close out International Observe the Moon Night. We got a bonus object that not a lot of people get to see, right? We got a good view of it.
Yep. And it's just not, you can't focus it any better. That's about it in the camera.
Yeah. And I think that would be a good, maybe another good post for you is going through an imaging process.
Yeah. That
would be a good thing for people to see.
Yeah, there are quite a few out there, though. There are quite a few out there.
Of course.
But there's a lot of free software that
Mhm.
you can download to process these images.
Mhm.
But I mean, if you're going to do processing, you first have to do hours of collecting data and setting up this kind of equipment. So it takes a lot to do a processing of an image.
Right.
But notice it's staying pretty solid in the screen tonight. So even though we just did a single alignment on the moon, that was pretty good, and it kept Saturn in there.
Yeah.
That was pretty good for us.
Looks
We lucked
good.
out.
Looks good.
See, now let's see. Remember, there were moons right next to it.
Mhm.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn up the exposure a bit until the moons start to come out, and we'll see how close they are to the planet.
There they are, right
There's
there.
one off to the left,
There's
right?
2 more off to the right.
You see them?
Yep.
Here we go. Let's go right up to here. And I don't get the ones on the right.
Yeah, they're in there plain as day.
You got them?
Yeah.
Huh. See, that's what you have to do with Saturn. You actually take multiple exposures, one to get the moons, one to get the planet, and then you overlay them.
It actually looks like there's one at about the 7 o'clock position off of the planet.
Down here?
Nope, off of the planet.
Right up in here?
7 o'clock.
Right there?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. I'm going to turn it way up and see if I can see them. There's something over there. See the 2?
Hidden. Now it's getting hidden.
Yeah, see the 2 on the right, though?
I saw those. That's not what I was referring
Yeah.
to. Turn it back
But
down.
you can see this right here. There's a little lump there.
Turn it back down.
Okay. That may well be a moon that's just coming out from behind the planet.
Yeah. Lower, 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 lower.
There you go.
You can just see it.
Yeah, yep.
Can you see it on the PC?
Barely. It looks more like a lump on the planet itself.
Yeah, but it's kind of twinkling back in there.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I think it's probably coming out from behind the planet, orbiting,
Yep.
and now it's coming out from behind.
That's cool.
By the way, an item like this that's coming up is in January. I'm doing a program where the moon is going to occult Mars for an hour. So Mars is going to hit the moon and hide behind it for an hour and then pop out on the other
Oh,
side.
cool.
So that's really a nice view. I'm going to be doing that for the astronomy club. And we're probably going to be putting it on the screen for them too, because we're going to try to do some imaging for it.
Nice.
Wow, that's tough in there. Boy, I don't know how you saw that one, Nick. That's tough. Very interesting. There you go.
All right.
Okay. So we're going to close that out with a little bit of a nasty view of Saturn, but
no, there's no such thing.
yeah, that's kind of true. You're right.
No such thing.
You get any view of Saturn is a good view of Saturn. So I agree with that.
Traveled all over the place. You just went to Texas for the solar eclipse, right?
And we went in Oregon too.
And in Oregon. Hopefully anyone who has out won't be able to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and do the contact inside. We're going to turn on the lights and start getting everything working out. Feel free to walk the process if you want, but otherwise we will set
Ah, dang it. I'm going to finish up with a quick capture of 2,000 frames on Saturn just to see if I can do anything with processing on it later. Okay. Let's get this shut down. And to do that, I have to first.
Lights are going on. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's fine. I'm just going to disconnect my camera so I can start putting it away. Bang. Take away. Exit. Stop sharing. Bang. Goodbye. Bang. End stream. Bang.